Welcome to the Western Pacific Fishery Management Council's Fish Forever podcast series on sustainable fishing through effective stewardship in the U.S. Pacific Islands. In this episode, we'll hear from 3 different fishermen who use vastly different gear and methods to catch fish. Many recreational fishermen practice responsible fishing techniques which allow them to continue doing what they love to do. While their gear may be different, they all follow established rules and regulations, whether fishing in coral reef or in the open ocean. These fishermen observe catch limits and use permitted gear to protect the ecosystems they fish. Peter Plummer trolled for skipjack tuna in Guam. Even after years of fishing from his boat, he still finds it as exciting as ever.
I've been fishing in Guam now for 30-some years. And before that in the Virgin Islands, California, Samoa, and Alaska. So we're going to be trolling mainly for skipjack tuna, or what they call in Hawaii, aku, or we just call them locally, we call them bonita. The techniques we use, running 4 lines, all in an alternate pattern. We'll be trolling at a speed probably around 7 knots. Okay, there are several ways to reel the fish in. We call jungle rules or jungle style. We just reel the fish in right from the rod holder, which is the easiest way. When we're charter fishing, or if you have people that really want to sport fish, we put them in the fighting chair with a little bit of lighter tackle where they can lift on the fish and reel down. And the most exciting part for me, and I wish I could make an alarm clock like this, is just hearing the drag go off. That clicker goes off, and I think when I stop getting exciting about that, then I'll take an onshore job. A lot of exciting things have happened over the years. Before I got married, my wife-to-be, she used to fish with me all the time. We hooked up about a 14-foot tiger shark once, and we tied it off with 200-pound leader, and it towed us backwards at about 2 knots for an hour until the cleat started to pull out, and she got a little bit scared, and we finally we cut it off. That was probably the biggest shark we ever saw.
People in Saipan have practiced net fishing for many generations, first using coconut palm fronds and now using modern pull nets. Gus Ogden and his family is continuing this long-time tradition.
We call this a drag net. Once they see a school of fish, they start running out with the net and start locking it in. So both corners, they sit down flat with 2 additional helpers. They start dragging it in, stacking it, and then as soon as they get close to that's the time they start scooping it up. They usually use this kind of traditional type for any fiesta or a big, large family, big party. They don't usually use this one for business-wise. They just use it for personal consumption of the family.
Another type of recreational fishing, spear fishing, is actually a lot more like hunting. James Borja has become an expert at stalking game underwater.
I've been spearfishing for about 20 years now, and I spearfish just by skin diving, or free diving as it's known, just without any scuba gear. I use a spear gun. I guess it's the thrill of the hunt for me. I usually like to dive the ledge where the reef starts to meet a drop-off. We call that the ledge, and I like to dive on top of the ledge where we kind of stalk bigger fish. Generally here we target reef fish, range anywhere from a pound to as big as 50 pounds to 100 pounds, but most of the time the fish are generally anywhere from 2 to 5 pounds. Well, spearfishing for me, I don't consider it a game. It's more of a way of providing sustenance. Who puts fish on the table, and that's what it's always been for me. I enjoy eating fish. I love eating fish, love eating seafood, and that way it allowed me to catch my own fish and provide to the family. I don't do it just for the sake of hunting and killing fish. I use it for food, basically.
Non-commercial fishing has many variations, but in the end, it's always about the fish. Fishers like Peter Plummer, Gus Ogden, and James Borja may use different methods, but their respect for the marine resources is the same. They understand that the fish they seek are dependent upon healthy reefs, so they're careful not to damage or overexploit the resource. Sustainability begins with a personal commitment to protect marine ecosystems. Non-commercial fishermen support and practice effective coral reef management and conservation so they can enjoy their local fish forever. Please join us again for another Fish Forever podcast brought to you by the Western Pacific Fishery Management Council.